Do you want to learn effective ways to build relationships, generate sales, and grow your business from successful entrepreneurs, startups, and CEOs without listening to a long interview? If so, you've come to the right place. Gresham Harkless values your time and is ready to share with you precisely the information you're in search of. This is the I Am CEO podcast.
Hello. This is Gresh from the IAM075 podcast, and I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Melissa Eboli of Melissa.com. Melissa, it's awesome to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, I'm super excited to have you on, and what I wanted to do was just read a little bit more about Melissa so you can hear about all the awesome things that she's doing. And Melissa Eboli, aka Chef via Melissa, is a nutritional chef based out of New York. Her services include event catering, dinner parties, cooking classes, and recipe development. When she's not in the kitchen, she can be seen making great guest appearances on Dr. Oz, in addition to being published in the likes of Women's Day, Reader's Digest, and Huffington Post, to name a few. Her passion as a chef is to create healthy dishes with a modern twist using the cleanest of ingredients. Melissa, are you ready to speak to the I Am CEO community?
Definitely. Bring it on.
All right, let's do it. So the first question I had was if we can kind of drill down a little bit deeper and hear a little bit more about your CEO story and what led you to start your business.
Totally. So cooking pretty much was always a hobby of mine for as long as I can remember. And, just kind of helping my mom out during the holidays. And I grew up in a big family, so I was basically always around food. And as I got a little bit older in my 20s, I kind of started to go out on my own in the kitchen, so to say. That's about the time when I started eating healthier, rather. And I just kind of started playing around with recipes and putting my own unique twist with it. And then whenever I would have guests over and have dinner parties, a lot of my friends would always rant and rave about my food. And they would just say, oh my God, you should open up a restaurant or do something with this. And it was always just a hobby of mine until as I got a little bit older, I actually started to develop food allergies, specifically gluten and dairy. And then anytime I went to, a party or a catered affair, I always found it a bit frustrating that it was hard to find allergy-friendly foods at these events, or if there were something that the caterer could accommodate, it never really tasted good. So I kind of saw a niche and a need in the marketplace. So I basically took my hobby of, cooking and then just launched a personal chef and catering business where I kind of filled that gap of, presenting delicious, nutritious food that's allergy friendly, but also tastes really good.
I love that. And especially obviously the taste really good part, but it's kind of like this concept of kind of scratching your own niche. Like you mentioned, you had an issue where, you couldn't find when you're going to these parties exactly food that was, like you said, exactly what you would be able to eat and not have to deal with any kind of aftermath from that. And you created that, but then you also found, it sounds like there were other people that needed and wanted to do the exact same things. Is that correct?
Yep, totally. And much to my surprise, there's quite a few people out there. I've had such a large success in such a short amount of time. And actually, right earlier today, I was just kind of tallying up, and under 2 years, I've actually had 90 client events.
Awesome.
In under 2 years. So there's quite a lot of people out there with some allergies and sensitivities.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And now I wanted to drill a little bit deeper and hear a little bit more about how you serve kind of like the clients you work with, what kind of things that you do for them.
Yeah, so there's actually a couple of different aspects in which I go about doing that. So I do cooking classes, and I do that, whether it's couples, I get a lot of bachelorette parties or just girls' nights out in general. And then I've also done cooking classes. I have a couple of corporate clients that I work with. And in addition to the cooking classes, I also do personal chef services, more specifically for dinner parties. So if you have, let's say a bunch of couples that want to get together, or if it's something celebratory, I've done quite a bit of 50 and 60th birthday parties that it's a nice plated sit-down dinner between 11 and 30 guests typically. And then the third level of my business is that I also do catering. And, that can be anywhere from cocktail style catering to buffet setup, as well as to a plated sit-down meal. And I do have some staff that I work with, thankfully, that do help me out with all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like a lot that you have to juggle. So I'm sure being able to have like a good team and people to kind of help you out with is definitely a good way to kind of ensure that the goal is met, so to speak.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now I wanted to ask you for what I call your secret sauce. And this might be something that, I guess maybe pun intended, it's something that you feel like in your business or your organization kind of makes you and your organization unique.
Yeah, totally. So obviously being able to serve that niche of, doing allergy-friendly catering is part of my secret sauce. But to also add to that notion, especially when it comes to catered affairs, that most catering companies, you either have a team of chefs, or, somebody that just kind of goes out and buys a lot of prepackaged foods. What differentiates me is that I am the sole chef and I cook single-handedly almost every ingredient that is served. And most of the time it's made from scratch. So I really put that true emphasis on the food, the flavor, and the customization that not a lot of caterers bring to the table, so to say.
Oh, wow. That's huge. And so I'm guessing like a lot of caterers, sometimes when you get things catered for, your dinner party, or like you mentioned, like a bachelorette party or whatever, a lot of the times the food isn't actually prepared from kind of like beginning to end, soup to nuts, so to speak.
Correct. Yes, that is true.
Okay. Well, that's obviously a great thing that you're providing for the clients that you work with. And what I wanted to do was now switch gears a little bit and ask you for what I call a CEO hack. And this could be an app or a book or a habit that you have, but it's something that makes you more effective and efficient as an entrepreneur or business owner.
So there's definitely quite a few books that I've read out there, but in giving thought to this, I would think the biggest hack that I've had, which I actually found by accident by doing market research, is it's both an app as well as a website called Thumbtack. And specifically for anybody that's a business owner in the service related industry, it's not just for chefs, but it's also beneficial if you are a photographer, makeup artist, videographer, or even in construction or do house cleaning. But Thumbtack has just been huge and instrumental for my business in obtaining a client base and continues to be to this day.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's definitely a great CEO hack. And a lot of times people are looking for certain services. So if I'm correct, they go on the website and they basically say what they're looking for, and then you're able to kind of respond to that.
Yeah. So pretty much, if you were the business owner, you would just sign up your services on the website, and then customers do go to seek out those services. And then you would just respond and then bid against other people in your space to land that client.
Nice. Yes, that's obviously a phenomenal CEO hack if it helps people to get more business and opportunities to kind of show the services that they provide. So I love that CEO hack. And now I want to ask you for what I call a CEO nugget. And this might be something that you would tell your younger business self, or kind of like a piece of advice or word of wisdom or a few that you have that you would tell other entrepreneurs and business owners.
Definitely. The one thing that I would say is to just be persistent and constantly apply yourself, as well as be adaptive. By being persistent, I mean, let's say whether you're service-based or you're brick and mortar, just because the shop is open doesn't mean that the clients are going to flood in. You kind of have to be out there, make partnerships and make relationships, but also be adaptive in the sense that what your initial business plan or business goal might not end up being what you're doing. Be open-minded to try new things and be flexible, with what it is that you're offering, especially if it is service-based.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. And I love that those CEO nuggets, just because a lot of times, you automatically think you're going to do one thing. And then sometimes when you're building your business, you realize like you did, I think in the very beginning, that you pivoted because you found out there were a lot of people that needed those type of services that you provided. So you started to create a business around that.
100%. Yep, exactly.
Awesome. And now I wanted to ask you, which is my absolute favorite question, which is kind of like the definition of being a CEO. And what we're hoping to do is kind of attract and have different types of quote unquote CEOs on this podcast. So I wanted to ask you, Melissa, what does being a CEO mean to you?
To me, being a CEO pretty much means that I am in charge of my destiny and I get to pursue a career, at least in my particular shoes, that it was once a hobby it's just a passion project that I was able to turn into a successful growing business model. And although I do put a lot of work and effort into my business, just being a CEO and just being proud of what you're doing, a lot of times it doesn't feel like work. And, I'm just truly passionate. And although I do work probably way more than 40 hours, as most entrepreneurs and CEOs do, it doesn't always feel like I'm working those 60 to 80 hours a week, because it just feels like I'm pursuing a hobby and getting paid for that hobby.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a perfect example of success of being and having something that you truly love doing, and then you're able to kind of convert that into a business. So I think that's pretty awesome that you've been able to do what a lot of people hope to do, and that's pretty phenomenal in my eyes.
Thank you. Totally. I agree.
Awesome. Hey, what I wanted to do now was, Melissa, I truly appreciate you for taking some time out. I wanted to pass you the mic, so to speak, to see if there's anything additional you might want to let our readers and our listeners know, and also how best people can get a hold of you.
Definitely. So I would say for any additional tips that I would love to give is, if you have something that you're passionate about and you're confident about, don't let any external influences discard you from doing it. Meaning, when I first had my idea for my business, a lot of people were like, oh my God, you're crazy. You're leaving, a really great position to kind of go out on your own and start your business. And I'm so happy I took that chance. Had I not taken that chance, I wouldn't be sitting here on this call with you today. But, so definitely just, if you're confident in a skill set or a trade that you have, or you just have some burning desire, definitely go for it.
Awesome. I love it. And people that want to follow up, what's the best way for them to do that?
So you can definitely go check out my website. It's viamelissa.com. That's VIAMELISSA.com. Or if you are on social media, both on Facebook and Instagram, I can be found as Chef Via Melissa.
Awesome. And we'll have those links in the show notes just in case anybody wants to follow up. But Melissa, I truly appreciate you for all the awesome things that you're doing and how you're helping so many people out. I'm super happy that I ate before I had this interview just to make sure I wasn't too hungry. But again, I appreciate you, and you're doing some awesome work, and have a phenomenal rest of the day.
Thank you. Same to you. Much appreciation.
Thank you for listening to the I Am CEO podcast powered by Blue 16 Media. Tune in next time and visit us at IAM075.co. I Am CEO is not just a phrase, it's a community. Be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and everywhere you listen to podcasts. Subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating. Grab CEO gear at www.ceogear.co. This has been the I Am CEO podcast with Gresham Harkless. Thank you for listening.